Welcome to AVoice for Creators. I'm your host, Daniel Norton. This week I want to talk a little bit about the one client freelancer. So this is a space that we often find ourselves in, well, at the beginning of our careers and also when we finally find what I would call success. When we are starting out, we need that first client, right? So you're trying to build your business and you find that client, this maybe a school, let's say a school portrait photographer. You find that one school, they're using you. It's a small local school because they're taking a risk on a new photographer. They bring you in, you shoot them. All of your photo income is from them because that's your one client. You just started. And that's fine because when you're just starting, you expect that. But then you pick up another little school and another little school and another little school, and you have all these things going on. Then the big school contacts you. And this school has 10 times the students of all the other schools that you've been dealing with, the other 10 schools, let's say. So you start working with them and you realize, wow, my check from this school from working the week is so much bigger than the rest of them. So when that first little school calls you back the next year, you're too busy. When the second little school calls you back, you're too busy. Now you find yourself a successful school photographer making plenty of money. You're happy. You've got your studio. And when you look, all those checks are signed by that same school. And you've got to think to yourself, hold on, I'm in a strange space here. Because if I lose this client, I'm out of business. Again, this is not an uncommon thing. I have been there, several times in my career, and it usually creeps up on us. And it's usually, like I said, as you have some bigger clients that are paying more, that have more prestige, maybe that you enjoy doing more, it's easier and easier for you to turn down the ones that you don't love. Now, I'm not saying that you should continue to work for clients that are terrible, or that you continue to work for ones that aren't worth your time as far as money. But what we need to do is when we nail that big fish, or hook that big fish, I guess would be the right term. When we hook that big fish and we've got that big client, don't suddenly get satisfied. Look for the next big school. You don't want to transition from 10 small schools to just 20% more money with one big school. You want to transfer from 10 small schools to 10 big schools, making 10 times as much money. Because that is the growth that we're seeking. Maybe that might be unrealistic for some people, depending on where you are, but we don't want to aim for the middle. If we aim for the middle, we'll get below the middle. You almost never get where you want to get. Sometimes you get real lucky, but the reality is you got to shoot for the stars if you want to get anywhere. So when you get that first big client, pat yourself on the back, be happy, enjoy that income coming in. Take some of it though and invest it towards going after other clients of that level. This is super important. And as some of those bigger clients fade away, even if you're still okay money-wise, still keep looking, still keep connecting. This is the thing of the freelancer. We have the freedom to choose our clients on some level, right? We have the freedom to control our schedule on some level, but we always have to make sure we have backup plans. Having a single client is like having effectively a job. And that means that it's not only a job, it's a job that doesn't give you benefits, that you get very little say in, and that they could drop you at the drop of a hat without any kind of unemployment or anything. It's like they're just like, well, this guy's cheaper, you're gone. You don't see that happen, hopefully, at many actual jobs. So we need to remember that as a freelancer. We don't have a job. We are freelancers, which means that once we nail that big client, we don't want to let the small, we can phase out the small ones, but we want to replace them with other big ones, other ones that are worth our time, are at the level that we're at, and there we go. Do not find yourself with one big client. And if you do find yourself there, don't panic because we all find ourselves there. I have been there. And sometimes it's not just one client. You might have like one client that's like 65% of your income. And then you've got like two other ones that make up the rest, which is still better than having just one. But again, you don't want any single client to make up more than 40%, 35, 40%, depending on how you run your business, of your income. So you want to make sure you have at least 3 to 5 clients of decent size so that if one or two of them fall back, you're still okay. This is the business goal as the creator, as the artist, as the photographer. I would love to hear from you. Have you ever gone through this? I got to believe they have, because every photographer that I've ever talked to, that wants to admit it, some that you just meet on the street aren't going to tell you that. They'll say, oh yeah, I found myself in that situation before. It's really easy to do. So be wary. And this isn't just for photographers. Obviously, if you are an illustrator or a videographer or any of those things, even though you have that one beautiful client, make sure that you know that with only one client means only one person can suddenly put you in a desperate mode. So make sure you spread out the work that you get as a freelancer. But as I started to say, I would love to hear from you. You can find all the information in the show notes, how to reach the show. Basically, you could email me, avoice@dnphoto.com. You could join my Discord server and reach out to me there. Link for that below. And if you'd like to support the podcast, please do check out my Patreon. There's also a link for that. If you haven't already, please take a moment to rate the podcast, 5 stars ideally, and review it so that we can continue to get the podcast in front of more people. Also, if you share the podcast, that would be amazing. In any case, I'll talk to you soon.